Okay, so listen to that. You just heard rain falling inside a DeKalb County apartment today. People who live there say they have dealt with the leaking roof since Hurricane Helene a month and a half ago now. New tonight, they say their calls for help have gone unanswered. Channel 2's Michael Dowda live on this one for us outside the Hidden Valley Apartments. Michael, we're going to talk about what all renters can do if this happens to them. But right now, those neighbors, they're fed up.
Yeah, it's a frustration because this really did start more than a month and a half ago with Hurricane Helene. Since then, residents tell me they have constantly asked for help, but those calls have gone unanswered, and too often they've gone to a closed leasing office with no answer for their calls to help. Every time it rains, it sounds the same. A constant dripping inside Faith Green's apartment.
Nobody should live like this.
And she's lived like this ever since Hurricane Helene. But despite the constant text messages for help, she has been the one to keep water from her property.
Every 20 minutes, my little bucket here gets full, and I have to dump it in there, run into dump it out, run back. I can't sleep when it's raining. I can't go out. I can't go to work. I can't do nothing.
So we went to the leasing office to try and get some answers. As you can see, it says it's open, but the door locked, the lights off, with just these notices of them being under new management.
It's shame on the landlord for not fixing a serious problem. I mean, that is bad, ugly, what's going on in that apartment.
Now, Clark Howard says if you find yourself in a similar situation, to make sure you have renter's insurance to cover any initial damage. But if something like a roof leaking isn't fixed, document it and get records of you asking for fixes, because the responsibility of further damage could become the landlord's responsibility.
You need it in writing. A lot of people now just make a phone call, or they think they've done what they need to do, sending a text. That's not good enough.
Now, as for Faith, she will keep dumping out the water and praying for the end to the rain and for the fixes to finally arrive.
I just need them to fix the problem, you know? I mean, and like I said, I'm not the only one. I'm the only one that spoke about it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, according to her. Channel 2's Michael Dowda back live with us again. Michael, we heard from Clark Howard, right, in that piece you did. Did he provide any other advice if you find yourself in a similar situation?
Yeah, his number one piece of advice is to make sure you have renter's insurance, because if there's an act of God, like a hurricane, that initial damage to your property is going to fall on you. Now, any damage after that, that is because of negligence from the apartment complex, could be the landowner's fault. But for that, you need to make sure you document every single step of the way, making sure you get it in writing via email or text message of you asking for those repairs and those repairs going denied. Back to you, George.
That is very important to have everything in writing. Michael Dowda, thank you. And as we promised, we have more details now on, well, your rights as a renter. Always make repair requests in writing, as Michael said. Keep a copy, too. If your landlord does not make the repairs within a reasonable amount of time, here's what you can do. You may sue for damages. You could also make the repairs yourself or hire someone else to do them and subtract the cost from the next month's rent. Consult an attorney, though, before you repair or deduct. Otherwise, you may not recover the money spent if your landlord takes you to court.